Hey everyone, so I decided to make some quite interesting tutorial related to the multi-console setup. Yes, this question's been asked like gazillion amount of times, and I decided to make one tutorial that will show you, I would say, probably the most versatile multi-network connection where you can actually cover different scenarios. If need be, I can make then a separate tutorial to show the different methods, but I'll try to explain to you a couple of things, and then I'll show you how I would set it up in a way to make it easier for me to control the show from, say, two systems, but you can actually expand it to more than two, and yeah, how to make it work. Okay, without any further ado, I will explain now. So here's the scenario. You have a console, say MQ500, MQ80, MQ60, not MQ40 because it does not support that function, multi-user function, and let's say you have a PC wing, and you're asking the question, oh, how do I connect my PC wing to my console and to actually expand the amount of amount of playbacks to start with? So answer is you cannot directly plug PC Wing into the console because that's not what it's designed for, because PC Wing is basically a separate console with the computer, of course. So here is how you can set it up in a way that you can expand your access of the playbacks, you can actually expand your workflow, and you can actually learn how to connect multiple consoles together and start programming bigger shows than before, or spreading the workload across several users. And it will be a little bit long tutorial, but please bear with me because I actually took time to prepare it for you. Everything I learned, everything that I will be showing you today, I've learned from the manual so if you read it, you would be able to do exactly the same thing, but this tutorial hopefully will show you how to do it much easier and you'll save your time. Okay, so in my setup I have two PC versions of MagicQ. They both unlocked. I'm running Rackman dongle, but you can use SnakeSys device, or you can use like a dual DMX box, mini wing, PC wing, everything except for the inexpensive Magic DMX dongles. So everything, the small Magic DMX dongles, they will not help you. It needs to be a full console, or it needs to be a device that unlocks MagicQ. So in my setup, I have the main system which is running on a Mac, and the system on the Mac is fully unlocked. As you can see, it's not in the demo mode. And I have the show file. I've just loaded the show file which is running. It's called showvet demo, and I'm running on the latest alpha version, but you can use the same function I think up until almost many years. It's only in the latest couple of years, I think last year we've added possibility of syncing programmer, but you will see how it works. Okay, so my main system is running on my Mac, and I have my MagicQ visualizer, MagicViz connect that's running from the visualizer menu here. You can see it's all running, yeah. And what I've done on that system is this. So you go to the setup. So first of all, I know I will be running on across multiple pages. So first of all, what I need to do is I need to check my playback window, and I will switch on the 2-page holdover. That means you can run it across 2 pages on the same fader. Then I went to the programmer window and I switched on the latest function that's been, well, not latest, but it's been added a few months ago, the undo programmer in action. It's an advanced mode for the undo. Then you go into the network and you set your IP address and a subnet mask accordingly. So I've set it in my Mac, and if you double click it, I found my adapter 200.150 and the subnet mask 255.000. Okay, and on the same machine I would go to the multi-console, and I would need to make sure that both top versions of the menus, enable remote control and enable remote access, are both switched on to yes. So this menu basically allows both computers to see each other, grab the shows, sync between themselves, and work together. If either of this option is no, then it will not work. Then the next thing you need to do is this. Net session mode says none, so you double click, you have an option to make an automatic takeover or manual takeover. And because I'm trying to show you the most versatile mode, the mode that will allow you to take over by the second machine if the main one fails, and also use it as a second user and control together. So I would go with the sync automatic takeover, so in case it fails, the second one will be able to take over. Net session ID basically allows multiple systems to work within the same venue or on the same network, so you will be able to divide, say, per room, so each room will have its own net session ID. So if you're in the one room, you will not see the other room connections until you want it. Then you will be able to connect to the different net session. So in my case, let's set it as 1, because we don't want the new system that's joining the network automatically clash into our system. Therefore, you set it as 1. This is our network ID. Then the playback sync slave mode, I will set it as an inhibit sync on swap. I will explain to you why. In the playback sync mode, just a normal standard mode, both systems will be dealing with the same page and the same playbacks. And the thing is, only your master will be able to control anything. The other system will be just waiting to take over controls from the main one, so it will be no use for you. So I don't want to use that. The next one is I want to explain is the inhibit playback sync. So in this mode, you can actually divide the pages between the users and control separate playbacks, separate pages if you want to. The only difference is if the main desk fails and the second one will kick in, that means the second desk that's running as a slave will have its own programming and continue from what it was doing at the time of the crash or when the main one lost. So what it means is, if something happens, you will lose what master console was doing at the time of the crash. So it is a little bit sort of you have to be careful with this thing. So I would say, I think the best method is to keep it as inhibit, so that means you can run two pages separately, but at the same time it will sync on swap. That means if the main console dies or loses a connection or something happens to this, the slave console will take over and will work straight away as the main console was at the time of the crash. So we will choose inhibit sync on swap, and the last option here we're going to choose is the sync programmers. That will allow us to control the fixtures together from both machines or from multiple machines running the same fixtures. Then the other options with the automatic takeover allows you to say the tech time, so how many seconds the other system needs to wait till start kicking in and automatically taking over. So at the moment it says 5 seconds. If 5 seconds is too much for you and you want the system to react much faster, then you can decrease the time to say 2 or 3 seconds. The hot takeover fade time, you can set it as automatic, and the hot takeover fade time is 3 seconds. So basically what it allows you to do is, in case the main desk fails and the second desk was running in the sync, and then what it will do is it will allow nicely fade from one look to the one that's coming from the slave system, and so it will not be abrupt. Okay, so we've set this system. We can go to the View DMX Input option window, and then we will be able to actually, as soon as we finish with the other system, I will show you what you have to do here as well. So yeah, of course in the DMX Input Output options, you should be able to set this ones as enabled. you see it says NSEN. NS means a networked system, and the universes are enabled at the moment, and the other ones are disabled because I don't need them. So let's go to the slave system. Okay, on a slave system, as you can see, I'm running the empty show file. So in the slave system, let me just explain to you what I'm running here, because I have two computers at home where I'm trying to record you a a tutorial. What I don't have is a third machine to run the visualizer, the global visualizer. So what I do is I have actually another MagicQ as a standalone app running on the second machine. So my main machine, my number one machine, master one, is connected to this one, and I can control it. And you will be able to see when I raise the faders on my main machine, you will be able to see that it reacts. Please bear in mind that there will be a lag on my video tutorial, simply based on the fact that I'm running two machines where I have the two MagicQs running with the rendering and also running with the screen capturing system. So therefore you will see delay, but this is expected. But in your real life system, if you have it and you're running it as external visualize on external machine, or you're running on a real light, you should not see delay like you will see in my video tutorial. Again, this is all expected to see it while in my setup. So yeah, so bear with me. And this system, this is my slave system, again MagicQ PC running unlocked version, and this is the visualizer that's running with this MagicQ, and again I say this is the global overall output. So what we need to do on this system, I'm running the same version 1842 alpha, but again you can run it, ideally you run both systems on the same software version, so the show files will be compatible and there's not going to be any conflict over the network. So there you go here in the setup, you go to the network, you make sure that your IP address is compatible. So the other system was 200.150, this is 2001, and the subnet mask 255.000. Then what you do is you go to the Multiconsole, make sure the first two options enabled as enable remote control and enable remote access as yes. In the net session mode, you can run it again automatic takeover, because this is going to be our backup system just in case. Net session ID, I'll set it as 1 like on the other system, and then it says playback sync slave. See, it's automatically already synced it for you. That's it. So you don't actually need to do much, but then you have to go to the playback sync, and I would put it on inhibit sync on swap like on other machine, and in a no sync I will put it as a sync programmer. So again, hot fade over 3 seconds, I can set it. The thing that you have to do as well, if you go to the view DMX input output option and you look around, you look here, you will be able to see now it says networks, it's a network setup, and it says disabled. Why? Because only your main console will output all the data, because otherwise if both systems try to output from it from themselves, there might be a conflict. So only the main system output stuff. Again, if you have any issues here and the show files have not been synced together, all you do is in this view, in the view DMX input output, you can press resync show. So as soon as you press resync, it will send a command onto the main console, get the show file, and will resync. If you don't know how to do it, you press resync now, and if it's not resync, if you press grab show or resync show, if you press grab show, it will ask you from which console you want to grab it from. You say I want to grab it from the other system, it will give you the name and the IP address, you click it and it will grab it. Then if by accident your slave console became master, so you see here it says slave, if by accident it became master, all you have to do is you have to press release control. It will release the control and the other one will become master, and on the master you can always press take control and this will become a master. So any console, if you want to take control of it, you press take control and your console becomes a master. So the last thing you need to do, let's see how it works by default. So it says here, it says net1 slave sync and it says none. So what it means is now if we launch the main console and we launch the playback, say playback 1, so I launch the playback 1, this information is coming from the main console, and now I'm trying to run a playback 3 from my slave console. See, I'm raising this, it comes up on my visualizer saying that you can actually program it like in a sort of blind mode if you want to, but if you actually want to be able to see this output on the main screen as well, I mean on the main output, you have to do one more thing. You have to go to the setup, then you press multi-programmer select channel, and here it gives the options for you. So you can basically say whatever is currently selected, all the fixtures selected, I want to control them. I want to do the programmer controls, etc, etc. If you want to control everything but not becoming a master, you can press all. But the best way to control them together and not actually and not contradict each other and not give the conflict is to use the active mode. So you see here it says it's a net session 1 slave, it's a fully synced show files, and the one that says ACT means active. So let's see how it goes now. So if I raise my playback, so you can see in the overall output they're all merged, they're all working together, because this console sends the data onto the main console and the main console outputs out to the, like as I'm saying, like imagine this is the external screen. And what I can do as well now is I can actually change the page and I can control the playbacks from the different page. So therefore you can see I'm running on a page 4 on my slave system, and on my main system here, on my main system, I'm running page 1. Again, as you wanted, as many of you were asking, this is how you can do it easily. So you can control actually the main page here. You can run some, say, wash effects from the main system, and then you go to the slave system. There's our slave system, and you can actually control the other playbacks from the different page. Or you can go and do it on the same page, or you can run a chase. So that way you can actually see in my overall output I can control everything together. Okay, let's switch off on the main system my playbacks. And the other cool thing you can do, again, that a lot of people are not aware of, you can actually work with the two systems together. And so that means, imagine you have a console at the front of house and then you have a console at the stage, and the front of house, say an operator on the main console can select the lights, for example press like 8 and set a look, yeah, and you can set a color. And then the second operator on the second console, which is on the stage, can actually select the very same lights, change the another position, change the palette, for example, and you can actually press record and store it, and it's stored here. You can press clear. If you go on the main system, all you have to do is just press clear from the last selection, and if you raise your playback you will be able to see exactly what was programmed on the other console as well. So they're fully synced, they are working together, you have two operators currently working together, you have a freedom of changing the pages, you have a freedom of operating same lights at the same time or separate lights at the same time on the same show file. The show files are fully synced between themselves. And the cool thing is, if the main console loses connection to the network, then you will be able to, your slave system will in in whatever the time you selected, say 5 seconds or 3 seconds, will be promoted to become a master system. Therefore, for any setup you do, I would always recommend to you to run everything through the ArtNet node. So I will show you now in a diagram how the best way to actually do it. Give me a second. This is the scenario that I put myself. So I set the different scenarios in my training, and in the scenario C I would say I have two consoles, master and slave, so it's a second operator. So they both will be talking to the external switch, maybe ideally gigabit switch for the faster connection between the consoles, and then your ArtNet or streaming ACN node will be connected to the gigabit switch, therefore making the setup versatile. So that means if the main one fails, the second one will take over, connect to the switch, because it's still connected through the switch, you will be able to overtake the control without any problems. So some people are trying to do it in a slightly incorrect way. They're trying to run one console through another and then out. In that way, if the main console, something happens to the main console, if the power failed or something happens and it loses the power, then you're going to lose the switch as well. So the best way to do is both this system to be connected to the external gigabit switch, and that switch will be connected to the ArtNet or streaming ACN node, and that's it. In that way, it will be more like bulletproof system for your control. Again, it was a lot of information you learned today. I hope it was useful. If you have any further information, feel free to ask, but I hope after this tutorial, when people watch it, there's not going to be another question, another people asking how to connect my PC Wing or Mini Wing into my system to run it as a backup, because you can always share this video with them, and I hope there's going to be even more shows running multiple MagicQ system, and I want to see even more complex setups that people running across their network. And if you have any further questions, feel free to ask. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye bye.